I'm very passionate about professional development. And I'm hoping you have your pen and paper or whatever it is you're using to take notes, because you really are going to need to take notes. You do not need a job out of sympathy. You need a job out of merit.
Do you feel this theme is really important in the life of everyone watching this? Yes.
If you are always sitting in a group of 3 or 4 or 5 and talking about, did you see so and so? Do you know what happened to so and so? Like, you are always gossiping and talking behind people's back. No matter how professional you think you are, that lowers your bar to flat.
Yeah, that reminds me, there was a clip that went viral some time back. It was a Zoom meeting, and then someone decided to, attend the meeting with a nice suit halfway. Then the bottom was literally nothing. Then along the way, I think there was a question thrown to him, and he was to reach out on a book. So he stood up and everything was...
Everything
was, yes.
But now a healthy workplace, when your boss walks in, you can give them a high five. You can say, how's your weekend? You can just have a simple chit chat without having to feel, oh my goodness, I'm going to have an email following me after this because why did I smile at the boss? I'm not supposed to. Why even I have to cross paths with him? Awalin Gugi.
Nah, by the way. Hello and welcome to another episode of the Rising Roots platform. My name is Damackline, your host, and I'm so excited because this marks our 6th episode on our YouTube channel. We are so delighted with the guest we have. We are also so happy because the theme today resonates well with so many young professionals today. And before I guide you through our theme, I would like to appreciate a few people. First of all, I appreciate our subscribers. We are so excited because we are headed to 400 subscribers within a month. I also wish to recognize the work of the video guy behind there. You don't get to see him in front of the cameras, but he does a lot of work, and we have received overwhelming comments about how the videos look like. So Ezra, thank you so much. I also wish to recognize the efforts of one Mr. Matthew, who is really supportive when it comes to our venues for our videos. And also to our guests. I'm so delighted. I'm so happy because each time I reach out to our guests, they're always willing to support. They're always willing to come. I haven't received any so far that turned down my request, and I'm so excited. Now, back to our reason why we created this space. We are here to evoke growth, inspire transformations, lay basic foundation in our children, our youths, and young adults among us in our society today. And today we are set to discuss a very relatable theme on professionalism, and that is both the online professionalism and the physical one. And when I was preparing, looking up to what theme next, and who can I invite to our show, Miss Winnie was in my mind. This is a person I have watched. This is a person who has been in the leadership space for quite some time, has attended forums of where interviews take place. So I know she has a lot of wisdom that I urge you to listen to, tap into it, and let it help you grow professionalism. So without speaking too much, we turn to Miss Winnie, who is seated here with us. Karibu sana, Miss Winnie. This is our 2nd time hosting you.
Tell me about it. I'm so excited. And Rising Roots is one of those platforms I'm really looking forward to see what are they uploading next?
Yes, yes.
And so when I found out I'm going to be part of the people just talking about some of the things we are passionate about, I was really excited. So yeah, I'm happy to be here and really excited for the audience. I'm hoping you're also going to learn. And professionalism is actually a topic that, especially being in my space where I deal with professional development,
yes,
it is one of those things that literally tags with me wherever I go. So yes, I'm really happy to talk about it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you're really burning inside. You
I
want
know,
to
I'm like, bring the questions. And I'm hoping you have your pen and paper or whatever it is you're using to take notes, because you really are going to need to take notes.
Sure.
For this one, yeah.
All right. So for us to start our episode, our podcast, it will be important for us to take us through the definition of professionalism, both in the digital space and the offline space, which is physical. Yeah, ensure to use the simplest terms. We know you are a teacher of English. So using the simplest terms, take us through the definition.
All right. Yeah, I would be tempted to go through Oxford and Cambridge Dictionary definition, but let me keep it simple so that we don't lose our audience.
Exactly.
So, according to me, my understanding, professionalism is basically how you act, you behave, and carry yourself, and in a way that shows you are trained in a specific area. Simply put. So as a doctor, you're supposed to carry yourself in a certain way. A teacher, you're supposed to carry yourself in a certain way. And basically, that certain way is like an agreed upon set of ways in which you're supposed to conduct yourself. It's unwritten, sort of. But you see, when you go you do the opposite, that's when everyone like, what's wrong? That's very unprofessional. You've had that every other time.
Exactly.
But no, so sometimes, of course, we misuse it. But the whole point is, how do you carry yourself in a way that it gives honor to what you're trained to do? Yes.
Wow. It's how you're expected to carry
yourself according to your field, according to your expertise, your area of study.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which takes me into thinking, if you're a teacher, is it that you're expected to behave in a different way? If you're a doctor, there is a different way. If you're a banker?
From my understanding is that there is a general, according to, like generally, there's a standard way of a teacher, a doctor, everyone should behave. But there are some specificities that come with being a teacher that will not be there when you're a doctor, sort of.
Yes.
For example, generally there's a rule, there's the doctor-patient relationships are off. The same way teacher-student relationships are off. The same way counselor-patient, all those things are kind of frowned upon across the board. But there are specifics that have to do with a teacher, because naturally as a teacher you're a role model. So at doctor we really don't care that much, no offense, what you do after you've treated me. You just walk and go. But as a teacher, because you are kind of impacting a bit, like even yourself, you're part of the lesson, sort of. So the professionalism for a teacher is likely, the bar is a bit higher compared to that of a doctor, because the interaction is more minimal. 5-15 minutes and you're done. But for a teacher, it's very sociable, sort of. And so it rubs a bit more on the person you're dealing with. And so the way you carry yourself, as I say, the bar is a bit higher than for other professions. So yes, there's a standard, but there are some which you feel the expectations are a bit higher than others. And so you just need to understand which profession am I in, and how am I supposed to carry out my duties and my responsibilities in accordance with what I'm doing professionally in my career. Yeah.
And I'm glad you've brought that aspect of teachers. Even the Bible says teachers will be judged harshly because we interact so much with the students, and their better part of their life is within us, them observing what we do, how we treat them. Now, before we continue into the conversation, do you feel this theme is really important in the life of everyone watching this?
You see, in fact, in this day and era, one thing I've really observed, and correct me if I'm wrong, is there is a general feeling of everyone just doing whatever they want.
Yes.
Okay, there's a laissez-faire kind of attitude. Like I'm going, it's my rules, my world, and so let me just go ahead and do what I want. But when it comes to consequences, we are not. I don't know. We don't take time to know that this can affect other people. And then there's also the bit of it's my space and so on and so on. So the bit of professionalism helps us to understand that there's someone who said that your freedom should not affect other people. So the professionalism helps us to know that this is my space, and while I'm doing whatever I want, is not affecting the other person negatively, it's not affecting the company I'm dealing with negatively, it's not affecting my clients negatively. And so while we might want to do things the way we want, we have to wake up and realize it's a bit different. There are set expectations for everyone, and so the need for us to talk about professionalism, and that's important also because the people who lack of professionalism brings mediocrity at the workplace, and trust me, you will have the worst experience in your career if you're working in a place full of mediocrity. So professionalism helps to just, set standards so that when someone is talking, you don't feel they're attacking you because you understand they're coming from which point. You understand yourself well enough to know that this person is helping me. And even as you are talking, you're also bringing your A game. You're also not making the other person feel bad. So it's actually what the level ground that helps us to achieve the set goal for the organization, sort of.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yes. At some point, we will come back to that part of mediocrity at the workplace because we really want to get deep into it so that this can help us avoid such in our workplaces, both as employees and as employers. Yes. Now we move on to today, the current age right now. The talk is about Gen Zs. They are also coming up, defining their life in a very different way. In our last episode, I had a group of Gen Zs and who spoke out their mind, and hopefully it reached out to the people outside there who can think about it and say, or rather come up with measures on how we should move on with these people rather than staying rigid, So that brings me to our second question. How has professionalism changed when you look at the past, and the current state we are in? And we want you to define it, giving the current employer what they really look at.
Okay. From my perspective, there are things, remember we talked about there are set expectations, right?
Yes.
Regardless of the time and era, there are things which are expected of a professional, sort of. But now we know that with the onset of technology and the many other avenues that we have, you can still be doing your very, very good CEO job from the corner of your living room and still signing those checks, still doing everything you need to do within a space where you're not necessarily interacting with other people. So in that case, therefore, professionalism kind of changes because we are no longer interacting face to face, but what you're saying is still affecting me. So the expectations have changed because there's now the expectations when you're having a Zoom meeting, for example. How are you supposed to carry yourself? First thing is you log in and then you switch on your mic. Then you switch off your camera. And then you wait when it's your turn to talk. Then you switch it on. You see, initially, nobody never even imagined that would be a big deal until COVID came and it gave us the other side. Okay, so now, then also the emails. I'm assuming, I don't want to imagine how many years ago, but before the emails came, people used to be called and told this and this and this and this and this. But now there's so much changes that now even the tone of your email is, the professionalism is inside the tone of your email. For example, when you send an email and it's all caps, everyone's like, why are you shouting? What is the problem? Chill, So it's this, and from my understanding of language, capital letters, and then especially you put capital letters and then you put exclamation mark, we are done. I see that email, I want to duck because things are not good. So a lot has changed over time. And the first and most important thing, the winner is the person who's changing with time. So the current employer wants the person who's continuously redefining themselves to adopt to the changes that are happening. So in fact, there's a chance that the current employer doesn't even know the kind of employee they will look for until they're in that space when they need that employee. Because we keep the goalposts keep changing so much in the professional world that if you imagine this is how things are done and you're stuck, this is how things are done, you're going to be lost. You will have a master's, a degree, even 2 or 4 more, but you go to an interview room and everyone is talking, you're like, why are they not picking me? Why am I losing out? So you also need to redefine yourself. The whole point, what I would say has really changed, is that expectations have changed. And I was looking at, I don't know if I think when we will show this, there's something that was saying the expectations of a teacher. Was it 1900? It was many years ago. You're not supposed to wear bright colors. You're not supposed to wear makeup. You're not supposed to get married. You're not supposed to get pregnant. And I was looking at that, I'm like, oh my goodness, nobody could have been, how did these people survive to be teachers back then? So you see, because at that point, a teacher was supposed to be a certain way. If you look at the modern teacher now, some of them are even making big decisions in the online social media platforms, and also making big decisions in the boardrooms, and making bigger decisions in the classroom. You see, so it's not like a teacher is just winning your handwriting and all that. No, you can do all that and still be a wholesome teacher. So you see how a lot has changed.
Yes. Thank you so much. You've measured, or rather you've leaned towards the general professionalism at the workplace, but I'm also looking at, what about the dress code? You've just mentioned here about then the dress code.
Yes.
I would really want to understand, how has it changed today? And then there is the relationship bit.
Yes.
You've just mentioned a while ago that they were not supposed to be married. All right. Today, what has happened today in the workplace? Then lastly, probably you look at the relationship between this junior employee, and the senior ones, employee, and then the boss.
Yes.
How has the relationship changed?
You know what I appreciate about that question is that I remember myself when I was starting out in my career, there was always that, okay, if it's a healthy workplace, and remember, I think that's what we need to underline, that a healthy workplace, a lot has changed. Initially, you would have the boss is coming in, everyone is you kind of you go incognito. But now a healthy workplace, when your boss walks in, you can give them a high five. You can say, how's your weekend? You know, you can just have a simple chit chat without having to feel, oh my goodness, I'm going to have an email following me after this because why did I smile at the boss? I'm not supposed to. Why even I have to cross paths with him? So there was that feeling of that the boss is such, and even the word boss was, highlighted, bold, italics, underlined, you can imagine. But nowadays we even say a line manager, and the line manager doesn't have to be, you don't imagine him to be like a monster that is coming to, it's a bit friendly.
This colleague.
Exactly. The second bit, so depending on the company, there's some companies which are a bit sort of streamlined or structured in such a way that they'll say, this is how you're dressed done. For example, I think I've seen lawyers, I've seen banks, they still have that expectation. You have to have your suit Monday to Thursday, and then I've seen they dress down on Friday. And they also seen, even when it comes to the other professions, I've seen even some schools where they allow their teachers, especially KG, I've seen kindergarten, there are schools where the teachers just wear denim jeans Monday to Friday and a t-shirt. As long as you are presentable, you're neat, you're good to go. And I'm assuming they have a reasoning there's a reasoning behind that choice of dress code. So I'm assuming, of course, you're dealing with kids. You don't want a situation where they're like pulling your skirt and all that. So it makes sense.
A lot of
exactly. The kids, they can literally go through your feet as you're standing or talking. So it makes sense. But also being aware that for you to be a professional, you need to understand, what does your company require? What is the company culture?
So you dress according to
and then you align yourself. But if they're still insisting on suit and tie, by all means, it's unfortunate. Just go ahead and do suit and tie. But if they're doing smart casual, be presentable, be neat. But nowadays we are looking at, and that's why I'm saying, even with the online space, the people who you wear your your nice blazer and your shirt and your pajamas, and you go on camera and you do your Zoom meeting, you finish and you're back. So you see, the changes are so many and that's why I said, if you are stuck in, this is how we used to do things, you're going to be left behind.
Sure. Yeah, that reminds me, there was a clip that went viral some time back. It was a Zoom meeting, and then someone decided to, attend the meeting with a nice suit, halfway. Then the bottom was literally nothing. Then along the way, I think there was a question thrown to him, and he was like, he was to reach out on a book. So he stood up and everything was everything was on camera. So for me, I will still say be very keen, even while working at home. Actually, it's the best, but don't take things for granted, right? Because you never know when it's going to hit you.
I know, and it gets even the best of us. And see, so here, what is the key is you switch on your camera, you forget. You know, so and then maybe you switch tabs, you continue doing other things. So even as you're standing up, you're like, is it on? Is it on?
I know. So allow me some questions. I'll have to read them from my phone because I don't want to miss a thing. Remember, we want to inspire people. We want to also share in detail for people to benefit from. So now our next question is on, according to Winnie. Winnie has sat in huge boards. Winnie has interviewed quite a number. I remember you interviewed me at some point. So you're looking at this young person outside here. What are some of the practical steps young people can take to build strong professional reputation, both online and physical?
Actually, one of the things I'll start, which is it's like a low-lying fruits, easy, quick reputation killers. If you do these, even if you are wearing your reputation, it kind of just brings you back to zero. So let's start with those ones. And I'm happy I'd written my notes here. Number one, if you are always sitting in a group of 3 or 4 or 5 and talking about, did you see so and so? Do you know what happened to so and so? Like, you are always gossiping and talking behind people's back. No matter how professional you think you are, that lowers your bar to flat. Okay? So I've approached the question from a different perspective. So just try and mind your business. Because now you're going to be kind of sucked in, oh, he did, she said, and then now, and that's not even building the institution and going towards the goal. Number 2, blaming others. You know, you remember, I think at one point when let me use corporate, when expectations are set out. So at one point someone will come and you may say your line manager will ask, Miss, there is this 1, 2, 3 we set out to achieve. We are now past the expected date, and you have only achieved 1. We need an explanation. You cannot start blaming at that point. You need to take accountability, because regardless of what happened, there is a role you played. So before you blame, take accountability. Like, yes, I didn't do this, I didn't do this. Don't just be quick to say, it is this, it is this, because we will always have an excuse, a reason why things are not working. But do you ever do a little bit of introspection? How do I contribute to the mess sort of that I'm finding myself in? So that's number 2. Number 3, if you become a yes person, colleagues are going to ask for favors. Even people outside your organization are going to ask for favors. So if you're a yes person, what happens eventually? You have misplaced priorities. So for example, you've asked me to come, let's say, to this shoot, and we talk about this and this and this, and I have another deadline that I need to adhere to, and I don't want to say no to you. So now this deadline, if one of them is going to suffer, and chances are it is the other one, because I am here to please. So you're the one you're trying to please, and then now what is even worse is when you promise and then you don't deliver, because when you're a yes person, you've already given the okay. For example, I'm trying to do a project on this and this. Can you do the background on it? Okay, so Damackline, can you do a background on it? And then you say yes. Okay, and then I go ahead and do the other bit of the project. And then I come back and turns out that you said yes to me. There was another person who was cleaning up. They wanted to organize the room. They wanted your help. You said yes to them. There was another person who was setting up a meeting. They were trying to set up online. They couldn't. They asked for your help. You said yes. So you're going to disappoint 3 people. When they sit together, they'll be like, hey, I tried to work with her and no, this one she didn't do. So you're going to miss several, roles, so several, I don't not say deadlines, but you're going to let so many people down that eventually your reputation, even if you let one person, you helped one person, the three are going to say, but when I did this, she told me she's going to do it, but she didn't. So do not overpromise. And then the last one, which is even more interesting. Okay, there are actually two. Inconsistency, when it's basically kind of the same thing. When you say you're going to do something and then you don't do it, or today you're very early for a meeting, tomorrow
it's the opposite.
Yeah, the opposite. I know, right? And then the third one, then the other one, you are hitting all the targets. So everyone is thinking we can count on Damackline, right? And then now the next quarter, you are leading from the other side. So now it's so hard to understand. So what is the disconnect? So are you a reliable person? Can you actually do the job, or what is it? So the consistency in punctuality, the consistency in professionalism, the consistency in all those things is just what helps to define who you are. And then the last one, poor online presence. Have you ever seen these people who, when you write an email to them, they will take 3 weeks to reply? A standard expectation is an email should be responded to within, I think, maximum, was it 48 or 72 hours? So that, because, and that is assuming that, so if supposing it was urgent, okay, we assume that if it was urgent, you would not have written an email, but in our workplace setup, the first thing you do when you log in is to check your email, so that it helps to set the pace for your day, so that you know what am I doing in addition to, especially if you're in leadership, in addition to my to-do list. So for example, this is what I'm supposed to do, and then your line manager asks, I need this document urgently. You need to shift and say, I have to work on this document so that the rest can come after. Because if you said urgently, then what do you need to do so that you don't, so there's that. And then one more, which is now not what not to do, okay, which is very important, is visibility. If you want to build your reputation, you see, how did I know about Rising Roots? It's because you created a platform and you shared. You can be the best employee, but nobody knows about you, because where are you? You're in meetings, you're quiet. In presentations, you're not saying anything. In any even email reaction or feedback, you're not saying anything. So you're not visible in any way. So we cannot tell that you even exist. 2, interpersonal skills. And this is, I'm talking about a typical corporate setup. Sometimes you find that people will be quick to suggest your name because of how you interacted with them. How many people have I thought of, I worked with them and there's a vacancy, I'm like, oh yeah, let me call someone. So he was like this, or she was like this. So that those interpersonal skills help to build networks and relationships that make it easier for people to recommend you and therefore to grow. And then competency. Just do what you are employed to do. Show that you are in the right space. Show that you are strutting the right corridors.
Wow.
Because if not, then we are going to be, you see the way our videographer is doing a very good job.
Yes.
So imagine if he came here and then we are supposed to shoot a video. And then he's like, let's do an audio. I will get some photos, put them together, we make it a video. How would you feel? And that's how an employer feels when they have employed someone to do something, and then you decide to not show up in the space, in the persona they're expecting.
Wow, I think you have actually spoken to me as well, because sometimes I find myself really, there are things I can do, and then when I retrieve back to myself later on, I'm like, was it really necessary? And you've spoken volumes when it comes to, because my next question was, how can a young person or an employee outside there make themselves irreplaceable? And then you've brought up this idea of, my viewers, mumesikia, stop gossiping. Gossiping is a killer. I found myself gossiping, by the way.
And sometimes it's so juicy, you can't run away from it. So, but you see, let me make it a bit clear.
Yes.
Don't be the one who's starting.
Yeah.
Because you see, it's like you are the one who's waiting. What's the hottest information to go and get? You know, that's different.
Yes,
but if it gets you and you're listening and you go ahead and do your business, that's different. Because sometimes it's somehow inevitable.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And more especially when now everyone around wants to associate you with Mushene.
I know you're that guy.
If you want
so even
Mushene, go to so and
I know.
so.
So it's
and especially now when you mentioned about mediocrity, when there is too much mediocrity at the workplace, I know you cannot resist from the gossiping. But
can I jump in before you ask your question? You see, the good thing about gossip is that it takes time. And so by the time you see it, okay, so what happened? So and then as you're listening, another person walks in. Oh, it's a person who can hear.
Yes.
And then the person you're talking about comes in.
Yes.
And there is total silence. And then they walk out. So you see, these people are supposed to be doing something, right? But now there's this giant elephant in the room that has to be slaughtered today. And the elephant is, where was he? What did he do? What was he caught doing? And so it's bigger than the objective of the company. It becomes an objective killer, because now people have come, they've dressed up, they've come to work to talk about someone or some other person. It's not even making sense. Like I cannot imagine I fueled my car to drive to do. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, sure.
So for it for you to improve, just need to ask yourself, really, how much time have I spent talking about this? And then sometimes it starts eating you. Sometimes they do things that make you feel you're in the wrong place. They make you feel, it kills your morale. So it's I don't know. It's one of those things that needs a whole
stuff
for its own, for another session for its own.
Sure. By the way, yeah, and there is the be consistent. You mentioned about consistency, because you don't want to be this person who performs today and tomorrow. Actually, even yourself as a person, somehow it will eat you up.
Yes,
because you start feeling like, okay, yesterday I was really good at my job, but today I'm like worst. You know, yeah. So, and you've mentioned quite a lot. So my viewers, kindly go through that. It's really personally, I'm going to practice all that. Because I don't want to be this one person when employees, the number is going to be cut down, you're the first one they're
thinking
list.
about. I know.
You know, So that is great. I know you've mentioned this. I know you have mentioned, or rather, my question was on what can this young person build to become that irreplaceable. Now, other than that, is there something else that the current employer looks, especially at the interview level? Because, you know, once we work with you, you get to understand me, you know who I am. If opportunities come, you're likely either to give me the opportunity, I must say, no,
because you've worked.
Yes. But now this is a person appearing in the interview panel. There are these normal questions. Other than that, what is it that you really love to see in these people that will say, yes, this is the right person for the job?
You know, one of the things I've come to appreciate, and I know most employers will really appreciate, is authenticity.
Wow.
You don't just be yourself. For example, if at this moment you are going through something that is kind of pulling you down, and you feel it is going to affect the way you're going to deliver at this interview, there's no harm in saying, this is what I'm going through, and so it kind of explains the situation. Number one. Number two, and I don't want to dive deeper into that because they can be as many as
sure.
But number two, why do you come to an interview and say, I'm a single mother of? Okay, imagine you are trying to hire someone. Does it really matter? And you are trying to hire a professional. Does it really matter whether they're a single mom or not? Why would you bring the fact that you're a single mom to a panel of 6 or 8 people? what do you want them to do after they've had that? That's the question. You know, what you say at an interview, ask yourself, what do you want them to do after they've had that?
Maybe I want them to have uruma on me so they give me the job.
Okay, so now, this is a very controversial statement. You do not need a job out of sympathy. Okay. You need a job out of merit.
So it's good listening to you, Miss Winnie. It's a lot to learn from there. And now you have actually addressed the behavioral part that someone is supposed to inculcate when they are in their normal duties on a daily basis. Let us now go back and look at the interview space, because I'm sure you have handled so many of them. Yeah, when you're seated there and the interviewee is coming in, from the onset to the end, what are some of the qualities that stand out? You know, this is a person you've never met interacted, but at that point, there are those qualities you look at and you say, yes, this is the right person. What are some of those things?
So actually, it takes me back to so many experiences, but let me point out maybe 2 or 3.
Yes.
The first one is, if you're going for an interview, look the part, right?
Yes.
We at least show the employer that the people, the panel, that you took time, that you really wanted to be there, like you value their time. So of course, be punctual. Number 2, dress well, and do some bit of research on the organization. Dressing well does not necessarily mean like full pinstripe suit. It could be smart casual, as long as you are looking the part, sort of. And then now, it's also one thing, so we know that unfortunately, we will judge you already by just how you look. Before even say good morning, before we already kind of have an impression of kind of person is this. So you also don't want to come with the, tattoos all over, and many other things. But I also need to say, this is the 21st century. So it doesn't mean that it's wrong, but
depends.
For the things which you don't want to kind of scare of. It's the same way with the relationships. The things which you see in a person, you're like, then you interact with them, you realize they're very cool people. But by the time you're interacting, you've already kind of rubbished them, or the ship has sailed. So there's also a situation where you might have more to offer, but your presentation is kind of putting you in a situation where you're not given the opportunity to offer what you have to offer. So don't cut your own branches before it's time. So the presentation, that's how you look, grooming, and then now the confidence. So we are doing an interview, and you are coming in as an expert in let's say technology, right? Even before, I know the thing is, most people might not have the this confidence when you're talking before people.
Yes.
But you need to summon it somehow. Because I even keep telling everyone I interact with, we know you can do something by how you tell us that you can do it. That is the first judgment.
Wow.
Before we actually, and that's why there's this expression, anauza woga. It helps at the interview panel, because we don't know. We don't know if, of course, by the time we're being called, we've looked at your papers, right?
Yes.
We've already kind of sieved. You've been shortlisted. So you already are standing out from the rest, because here you are. There are people who applied and they didn't make it to this point. So, but now you've come, you have your 30 seconds, 1 minute, your 2 minutes, your 5 minutes to show us that you are the right person. Put your best foot forward. Speak confidently. Do some research on what the organization is about. So you cannot, the situation where you're asking, so yes, I'm here because I'm really excited. I've always wanted to work with this company because I'm interested in the processing of fruits, and this company has nothing to do with fruits. So they're looking at each other like, hey, not to be bad. What?
Yeah.
You couldn't even just take time to find out what Safaricom is. Safaricom is, it deals with, exactly. It's a communication company, and you're talking about something totally different. So that. And then there's also, I mentioned, I think, but I'm going to repeat, authenticity. Be as authentic as possible. Speak truthfully. Yeah. If you're not comfortable, say, I'm not comfortable. If you had to, so for example, we know that we expect you to come early. If it happens that for some reason something has happened and you had to come late, just be authentic and say, to be honest, this is what happened, and and that's why I'm late, and just render your apology before the interview begins.
Wow.
An employer will be honored to know that this person respects our time and they're able to give credit where necessary, and also they won't blame traffic, they won't blame people. As remember, we say we're not blaming people. So even as you're there, first thing you're saying is, I'm sorry I'm late, or I apologize for coming late, and then you go ahead. But I'm hoping, please don't go late for an interview. What are you doing that's more important? Especially at that point. And if they gave you communication on all the expectations a bit earlier, just try and be there on time.
It gives a lot. I remember our first episode, we did writing a letter to my younger self.
Yes.
And we had Lillian.
Yes.
When we, off camera, of course, we were conversing, and she was like, no, I was like, how did you get to the position you are at? Because she's a leader at some national political party. Then she told me that when I was called upon the first time, I arrived there. We were called as a group, but I was way early. I arrived very early. So when they were thinking of who do we give this position, that was the reason. It was the only reason that gave her that platform. And you see right now,
and then now when she got the platform, she brought her A game.
Yes.
When you listen to her talking, it's kind of, so you see, sometimes that's what I was saying. I think for her, the ability to show up early gave her the first opportunity. And then now when she was given now to talk, you need to prove yourself right.
Yes.
Show that you are there on merit. And that's why I was telling you, it doesn't make sense for you to go to an interview and say, I am a single parent. Now we have, do you know what I can also say? I have the people who can also say I'm an orphan. Another who say, like, people are going through so much.
Yes.
Like being a single parent, I know, and I'm not downplaying it. I know it's a big deal. I know it's a burden. I know it's a lot, but you don't want to be hired simply because the panel felt sorry for you. You want to be hired because of merit.
Yes.
Because and I was also going to say that there have also been scenarios where you hire and then shortly after you're forced to fire.
Oh yeah.
Why? Because you hired potential and that potential never came out.
Yeah.
When you're hiring, you really don't know. And so it is also questionable of the panel, because you were 6 people. How do 6 people agree to hire mediocrity? Because you're calling it mediocrity, that's why you're sending it home.
Yes.
Why did you agree on it in the first place? You see how it doesn't add up. So how about you just listen to the person? If you feel this is going to be a deal breaker at that interview panel, that's where you bring it up. Okay. Same for the interviewee and the interviewer, so that you can bring it out that yes, this is the situation I'm in, so that it doesn't turn out to something that comes out later, and then now it's costing the company for no reason.
I like that idea. It's about being authentic. In most cases we attend interviews with a lot of fear, and sometimes you're like, Kwani, are they going to put a gun on my head if I don't? So you see that fear, when it builds up, you kind of mess during the interview and you lose the opportunity.
I also wanted to mention that even at the interview, if you cannot answer a question, the authenticity comes in.
Yes.
To be honest, I have not looked at that area. Just, you see, like the way, and on the authenticity comes to LinkedIn, people's LinkedIn pages are full of life. You look at it, you're like, oh my goodness, who is this person? How are they, in this space with me? And then you interact with them, you're like, I know why. Because if your LinkedIn does not add up to your personality in real life, there's a disconnect. It means you're using filters on a photo, and then when we meet you, we are not seeing the person that we saw, that we're expecting. So but
I want to look good.
I know.
The filters.
I know. As you're looking, that's perfect. As you're looking good, work on your craft.
Okay. Yes.
So that when you're starting, the confidence that you had kind of conveyed is what we are seeing. Okay. At the panel, we are seeing the same aura that we fell for when we looked at your profile, when you looked at your CV, so when we called the people that you interact, so we want to just see the same person sort of. But I'm not saying that you do that at the interview, and then when you go, you're in the office, now you've given this is your cabinet, this is your area. No. It has to be the consistency now comes in, right?
Your
And that's
A-game.
so many employers have said, we hired this person, it's not the person we are seeing, right? And you've experienced that. They came in with so much energy, but now it's not there. So
Yeah, it's totally different.
Yeah.
And there is this other thing that keeps on worrying me when it's interview, and I became a victim once upon a time. But then I was told that they are questions meant to irritate you. They throw at you those questions at that particular time. Yes, later on I came to learn that it's just testing your patience levels. Yeah, and let me share the question. And I was very naive, fresh from the university, looking for these TAC jobs. And then there was a panel of around 10 people, you can imagine.
Those are already too intimidating for a young professional.
Yes, and you're seated there and you're like, wow. And then along the way, a lady, I expected this should be a mother figure, she asked me, Damackline, are you married? I was like, yes. Now the next question is what kept me off. Like, to how many husbands?
Whoa.
I have never forgotten that question, by the way. So I keep on asking. And now that is not even the bitter part of it. You know, when she asked to how many husbands, all of them burst into laughter. And you're seated there, so you don't know.
I know.
How is she seeing me?
I know.
Do I look like
I know. So what? How do I look for you to think this is the right question for me? I know.
Do I look like I'm one?
But I also need to tell you,
Yes.
I know some, and I'm not saying that that's the case, but some people find themselves at the panel without proper preparation, and sometimes they don't even have the questions. Sometimes they just feel like, how do I don't know, I have nothing to ask. And that's why even a normal interview, the questions about the personal life it's not supposed to be there, to be honest. But it's in real sense, there should be no question about your personal life. Even when they ask you, tell me about Damackline. That's why I said, you don't need to say I'm a single. You don't need to say I'm a Christian. You don't need to say, unless it's an organization that specifically asks you about that, then go ahead. Because there's also the diversity, equity, and inclusion hire. So there's also that where you're hired because you're a woman, you're hired because you are from the minority. So there is that bit. So already by the time they're bringing you, they might have already looked at your CV, seen this is where she's coming from. If you're handicapped or you have any sort of challenge, hearing or whatever, they've already considered that.
Yes.
So you don't,
Now, being an expert in that area, what would you recommend someone to say? Responding to that question, tell us about yourself. Because first they have your CV.
Yeah, they already have. They already have.
And then they're here asking you again
the same question.
Tell us.
Actually, it almost looks like they're asking the same question, but that question is expecting you. We are just trying to see how you value, what you value in yourself. So in this case, what are you supposed to talk about? Of course, your academic journey, from the onset up to where you are. You also talk about your professional journey, and then you also talk about other qualifications. So professional journey means where have you been hired, where have you worked, and so on, up to where you are now. And you're trying to kind of summarize. And then now your other qualifications we're looking at. So if you're a HR professional, have you been, or let's say accountant, have you done any other CPAs to kind of back up your training, or have you done any other in-service training courses to back up what you're doing?
Yes.
So the focus is on who you are in terms of, and then you can add a few likes. I like to do this. I like, especially if your likes are healthy habits, you can add on to that, just kind of to be like the icing on the cake.
Yeah.
But the most important thing is the basic education, and you can mention the year and the school institution you went to, and then you finish with now what is even more important, why you feel. When I say why you feel, so they're looking for, give me an example, they're looking for an office administrator, right? So for you might have done many other things. But when you're talking about who you are, focus your ideas on office administrator. Have you been a PA, for example, before? Have you been able to do one of these things that show that you have this experience? Have you been a secretary? So that what you're saying is aligning directly with what they're asking for. Yeah. So don't want to go say, I was a pilot. Why do we want to hire a pilot to be a secretary? It also kind of shows the disconnect. And they also ask, so if you are this qualified and you're this good, so why are you here? Red flags, right?
Yeah,
in the profession.
Yes.
There are also people who have been in the same, they've not grown. As an interviewer, I'll ask myself, why haven't you grown?
Yeah.
Why are you not improving yourself? You've been doing this for 10 years, 15 years, and you're still at the same level.
You started at.
And some people, they're doing interviews with early career practitioners. So there's someone fresh from graduate and you're in the same place. Those gaps need to be kind of explained also, just so that you don't miss out, because we will judge you. Why?
Exactly.
Did you misbehave? Did you have to be sent out? Did you take, some sabbatical leave and so on and so on.
And sometimes you are at the same workplace, same position. There are new entrants who are coming and they are given promotions.
Yes.
While you're still there,
and
something comes up and then discussions come. Who can stand in? Your name
your name
there.
I know. So I think so that's it's one of the things that can make you do in introspection. That comes to the career audit.
Oh yeah.
Okay. I don't know if we can just jump into it.
Yes, we are free.
So now sometimes you kind of need to sit down and ask yourself, who's Dama, right? So, for example, if this boss who has always been scolding me, he says he doesn't like this, he doesn't like this, he doesn't like this. Is he right?
Yes.
Even if you'll see, there are things you're doing that are not right.
And we don't want reality.
We don't want. In fact, and I'm sorry to use this example, there's a colleague of mine who was sent home. And it was a big buzz everywhere. He'd been fired. So what's wrong with this organization? People are just being sent home. So now there's a bit of tension. Means you can lose your job anytime. And so we interacted with him. So what happened? Like, these people, until we got to know the real reason why they were actually sent home. It was so devastating. It was so devastating because it was a safeguarding issue.
Oh, yeah.
So now in this case, someone will also not come out and say, at one point, I mistreated a child under my watch. They won't say, people don't talk about the dirty, what are they called? The whatever's in the closet. The
dirty linen.
Or the bones in the closet. There's something. They don't talk about it. But if you are honest with yourself, you will see these are the things I'm not doing right. These are things I need to improve on. So the career audit will involve, number one, am I punctual? Am I consistent? My grooming, do I even brush my teeth? When I'm talking to my colleagues, do you think, I make them comfortable or uncomfortable? Why is it so hard for me to make friends? Why is it so hard for me to grow up, grow in ranks? And then also ask yourself in the same understanding, how do I communicate? How is my tone? When someone gives me feedback, Miss Winnie, I didn't like the way you did 1, 2, 3. You know.
Yes.
Hey, the first thing is to defend yourself. So it means next time nobody will give me feedback because who wants So and someone who's very emotional and reactive to everything they're being told, even if it's a bit salty, it's a bit painful. Just take it in, listen, because feedback is the best thing that can happen to you. However bad it is, just listen. And then sit in your corner once you're done, listen and say, this is how I can do and be better. That career audit helps you to become, and if you're a teacher, look at the lesson you've just taught. There are times you listen and you're like, I gave them a raw deal. Even you gave them a raw deal. You've just interacted with a parent who has shouted at you. If you look back, you'll understand why they shouted. You are in communications and you had a call with a client and they were really rough and they were really, going off on you. How you react will make the client calm down. That audit helps you to understand, am I also doing the right thing? How do I correct so that it doesn't happen again? And you're also giving yourself feedback. You're listening to yourself and also listening from what people are saying about you. Now, still on the audit, there's the online audit. Now, the online audit is even more interesting. Of course, we've said, do I respond to emails on time?
Yes.
On online, do I log in and then go have my coffee from the other room, or do I follow up? So, and then still on online, how do you make sure that your digital footprint is not curtailing your growth? So go look at what you've been posting from when you were young and energetic, and you had a voice to say an opinion about every political decision.
Yes.
You had everything to say about racism, about what. There's some very those comments.
Yes.
Take time and just go through it. If possible, delete, remove. Have you been in an interview or in a place where you featured in a news article and they said something about you? Go ahead and look at it. If you can't remove it, then do the positive. Build a profile where the good online is going to outdo the negative. You see, that kind of does a balance. So you know that this is what I'm not doing very well in online, but now this is how I'm going to counter it. But now that you're young, most of us are just starting. Now be careful. And then, if possible, put your profile private. But if it's going to be public, check. Is this what, if my employer saw this?
Yes.
Now there's not even an employer. I know we're talking about employability. We're also job creators, right? You could be, let's say you're running a company. You just started your own company and you want people to work with you. The people who are going to look at your profile and they're like, yeah, you've not commented anything, but who are you following? Who are the people who are following? Who you are following? Who are the people who... What kind of information do you consume as my potential service provider? So let's say you supply books. You're not even looking for a job, you're just supplying books. But you're going to be dealing with professionals from different fields, or you want to be a brand ambassador. But now you've been following some very questionable people, you've been looking at some very funny videos and commenting underneath. It waters down your professionalism. So brands that want to work with you would be very reserved because they're like, it's a bit,
red flags. Wow. I personally feel like, especially that area you've mentioned, the online, we assume a lot.
Very much. We make so many assumptions on this is the right thing to do, this is the right thing to do. And then, of course, nobody has come out strongly to just talk about it.
Tell people.
And
I feel like even the employers themselves, they may not want to come and address it because they want to know who are we employing. Before, yes, because you're likely to sugarcoat. They see the good, but they don't know who this person is. I'm making a promise online. Today before I sleep, I'm going to do an online audit. Yes, because I've posted a lot. Kwanza TikTok, oh my God. There is quite a lot. So I'm going to go through all of them and do what is necessary. Just to protect your brand. Especially now that I'm building a brand. Yes, I wouldn't want those negative posts there. Now let's go back to Miss Winnie. I feel this one is, we need to agree on this one. Not all the times you get to work under a reasonable boss or employer. Some of them sometimes can be intimidating, can be harassing, etc. So the question is, how do you handle such ruthless, rough, don't care attitudes in the name of bosses?
Well, I feel that's it's one of the questions that make me feel
I know.
Because it's at any one point, I'm sure, especially when you're starting out in your career, you experience such people. And now, and me for a minute, I'm a very assertive person. Like, if I don't like something, I speak about it. And so many times I spoke about or against something, and someone assumed that you're trying to pull them down, you're trying to look down upon their position, you're trying to make them, to demean their office and so on and so on. So I had to learn kind of the hard way that two things. That a person or a line manager who's mean, it has nothing to do with you.
Wow.
It's allow me to jump into the other bit. When someone cheats in a relationship, that's their decision. It's not because of you. They will, of course, manipulatively say, you did this because of this, but you did not tell them to go text and drive and go and book Airbnb and do all those things that will eventually lead to, you understand?
Yeah.
But it's easier to say it's because of you. So a toxic, let me say that, a toxic line manager has a lot they need to work on, rather than assuming it's the employees or the juniors who have something to fix. Well, sometimes they have, but even if they have, how do you address it? Do you want to show them that I am the boss? You know, how do you correct it without making them feel, without demeaning them? So I feel for such cases, there's a lot to do with the other person than to do with you. And so if you're coming up in your career and there's this person who's continuously making you feel less of a person, they're being mean to you, they're being and so on, and just making you look like a pushover. I know, do your career audit, look at yourself, who am I as a brand, but also give yourself some grace. You are starting out, people are dealing with so much. So sometimes they're taking it out on it's projection, taking it out on anyone who's around. Sometimes you find, I've seen cases where you want something approved, and the peer will be like, hey, he's in a bad mood. Are you sure you want to bring this to him today or now? And so you're like, okay, let me tiptoe, let me wait until he's feeling a bit better, he's looking a bit better, then, okay, or you stay with the document. When you see he's smiling now, he's a bit better, then you give him to sign. You see, once in a while, we will go through that. But someone who is consistently, in a bad mood, you're not supposed to be at the workplace. Because you're continuously making other people's lives difficult. And therefore, if my life is difficult, I definitely cannot deliver. So Damackline, we work together. How am I supposed to sit and work on that document, whether it's one page, whatever, and someone has just told me, you're so incompetent, you're the least, I'm wondering how you found yourself in this company. Do you know, I will be working on that document wondering, and yeah, how did I find myself in this company? You will not even feel, exactly. Down. And I once worked with a boss, a line manager who told me, who didn't tell me actually, but they mentioned that Winnie is that kind of a person who, when you tell them to do this, that's it. Just mention what you want done. And then that's it. So when I had that, do you know how above and beyond I went? Because I'm feeling that she feels, this line manager thinks that whatever she tells me, I will deliver. So even if I was snuggling in my duvet thinking, deadline is tomorrow, I remember that. I want to do the best because the affirmation is kind of like a wake-up call. And even if I'm not really there, I really want to do something so that I get there. It's like a child. The more you affirm them, the more someone's trying to walk from that end to here. You tell them, I just knew. She can't even walk. She just can't, just a small distance. You know, but she keeps saying, come on. They keep walking. Before you know it, they're on their own. So every human being somehow requires that cheerleader. And that cheerleader might be your line manager, might be your junior, might be your colleague. If it's your line manager, you're lucky. You will grow beyond even yourself. But ultimately, be your own cheerleader, because out it's a bit cruel. If you're waiting for someone to continuously tell you you're doing the good, it's not gonna come.
Wow, I like that part of humans like affirmations.
Yes.
So hey, if you're a leader outside there, it doesn't cost a thing, by the way. Even if you're lying, just tell them, I like the job you're doing. I like your work. It will go a long way. Now, I'm still stuck in between this ruthless person, you know, and you look around. I know we are normally told, if you don't like it, drop it. If the workplace is becoming hot and hotter, move out. Sometimes you have no other option. And I say this because at some point, someone once told me, that was my leader, aliniambia, I had presented my report and akangalia, and it was a tiny mistake. Then akasema, even so and so is doing better than you, and is not an HOD. You're an HOD, and so even so and so has done it well, and he or she is not an head of department. And the conversation ended there. So imagine you admitting the mistake, and then when you walk out of that office, wherever you're going, you start questioning yourself. what's wrong with me? Why will this person say this?
And why did I make such a stupid mistake?
How can
why?
I
You know, you're kind of beating yourself.
Yes.
I know.
So such people, we still have to, because now that one is now, somehow it will now lead to mushene. Because when you go to your friend, I'm like, Winnie, guess what has happened?
So
I've been told this and this. And then you respond back by saying, hey, nana kuchukia.
I know.
Hey, kwa nini mbona na behave hivyo? Then the mushene unfolds.
And then now you're like, so what did that person, the other person write?
Yes.
You're clean, you're
Anapendwa,
eager. I know.
Yeah.
So your question is, how do you
cope in that environment?
I think one, and I think, you know, it's so I was so overwhelmed. Reasons. I just, I went to the office. So the counselors, we sat down. I didn't say specifically what happened. I didn't say anything, but I just broke down and I cried. I cried and cried and cried and cried. I you know, with this Kenyan makeup.
Yeah. You messed up yourself.
And then I have to finish and then kind of, you know, and then walk out like nothing has happened. But let me tell you, I learned something that day. Number one, that all said and done, even when do you know when you go to a counselor, there's nothing new they tell you. They simply remind you who you are. They remind you what you're supposed to do. But that office is like a safe space that allows you to do introspection, right? So I feel every fully fledged, any organization, even if it's an SME, we need to have that space. It allows employees to check in. It allows people to just ask those, you know, so that it doesn't turn out like moshene. Does it make sense? So that you can walk in and say, someone has told me this and I don't like it. And then now they can comfortably tell you one to But I also need to tell you, sometimes the confidentiality is hanging by the rope. So be careful also how you go about it. But that's number one. Number two, find another outlet outside the workplace where you can talk about these things where it doesn't look like gossip. How do I mean? I'm sure when you go home and you tell, there's this meme that, or I think I realized, so it was saying that anyone who works with a teacher knows everything. They know that student who's naughty. They know that teacher who's this. They know everything, because when you go home, you kind of offload to that person. Like this is the same way even counselors have their own counselors. Like you listen. There are people who are going to come and tell you stuff. You're like, oh my goodness. You go now to another. So for women, it's easy because somehow in the name of catching up, we say what happened, we share. But for people, let's say if you are not the kind of person, I'm really a very private person, by the way. I only share what I really have to share. But how do I cope? Because if I have someone who I know is trusted and I can talk to, then I'm free to talk to them. Because I don't want to, when I'm ranting about something and then it goes back, do you know she even said? Do you know she even, because that's how it's going to come back. Because you're angry in the spur of a moment, you're saying something, and then it comes back to, and then it goes to the same boss, and they're like, oh, you even, after this, I corrected you, and you, so it looks like you're even not accepting feedback. So it can get a bit messy, but find your outlet and then grow yourself. Read as much as you can, so that you also understand that the people who are naturally toxic, and then the people who are self-destructive, right? And you know how to set healthy boundaries. Do not pick a work call, if you know it's going to give you stress. When you get home, you respond tomorrow morning. If it's WhatsApp group and they're always updating things that you don't like, you mute. When tomorrow morning you go, you see when you check your email, that's how you check that WhatsApp. And because you don't want also, when you're at home, you're like, oh, you please do especially WhatsApp has made it so difficult to know the working hours, sort of. So someone can send a reminder anytime. And maybe they expect you to respond at it's 2023. They expect you to respond. It's 8:23. Respond. And if you're online, you might be online, but you want to use that space for catching up with your family and doing other things. But now you need to draft a long message responding to what you know. So set your own boundaries. And if they keep going over, you can tell them, please, after work, I prefer this and this and this. And that is when also a very way of being professional. You understand, or someone understands, your working hours are from this time to this time.
Exactly.
And they respect it. Yeah.
Wow, quite a lot. I have 2 more questions to go before we conclude.
Okay, all right.
Now, one, what is your take when it comes to the role of an HR? And what would you advise young people outside there, or just anyone else? What relationship should they have with the HR?
This is a very, very, very controversial statement. And I know I have, my HR was my friend. And,
Yes.
And generally I have a cross. But let me tell you, HR is an employee. The HR's first mandate is to protect the organization. It's
Not
a sad reality we need to understand. While he's employed, he's on the side, always on the side of the organization. Always.
Yes.
Always. And that means that every idea, everything he's going to stand for, he will advance only to the level where the organization allows him or her.
Yeah.
Right? But that does not mean that a HR is like the kind of person like you know, be friendly, understand, but also understand that he's an employee, he's your most trusted and untrusted boss. Trusted because you can actually go to him and say, or her and say, this is, I've just had a baby, this is what I'm going through, I need some extra hours, I need some time off, and there's some arrangements which they'll actually gladly support you in. But you also need to know they will only gladly support you in as far as the organization allows. So they are limited to that. What does the organization stand for? Number 2, while we might also, I also feel that the HR is like the cockpit. I read that article somewhere and I really loved it. It's at the center. It's everything that works within an organization is centered at the HR's office. Do you know why? Because the HR is supposed to check the CEO and tell him, you've gone a bit too far, right? And when they're checking on which grounds? On the grounds of what the company stands for.
Yes.
Right? So they're representing the company. What does, as for example, Rising Roots, what does Rising Roots stand for? And if Dama has done something that is contrary to Rising Roots, your HR should be able to tell you, Dama, check this. It's not auguring well. It's almost like brand marketing and branding, right? HR and marketing and branding kind of go hand in hand, because when you do something, you are representing that organization, right? Good or bad, you're representing that organization. So the HR is there to kind of check to see what you're doing. Is it representing or otherwise? And so checking other people, and that is the bit that makes it look like, HR is this kind of, that's why people kind of fear that look at the HR office as a certain way. But we need to understand, they mean well.
Yes.
They will support you where necessary. They will, give you the kind of morale you need. Sometimes there are favors that come, but only limited to what the company allows.
Yeah.
They're an employee like you.
Yes.
Yeah, they won't brew up miracles.
Yeah. Just do what you're supposed to do.
Just do. Exactly. Know what the company expects.
Yes.
And do exactly that.
Wow, I love that. I love that. And I hope it has spoken a lot. So many a times you feel like the HR will protect me. I'll go to the HR and report my boss, blah, 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 blah. I hope that you get to understand as our viewer.
And then you find your HR and your boss, they have coffee after work every day.
Yes, and then you come back and start gossiping. Wako pamoja. They are together.
So it's like, I'm sorry to say, have you seen this scenario where there's political parties on?
Yes.
They go to Citizen TV.
Yes.
And they clash. They clash badly.
Right.
And then when cameras are done, you see them together having coffee.
Sure.
So it's like this is my role, this is what I'm supposed to do, right? I've done it. Good. So we need to, so that's why I think the most important thing at any workplace is the boundaries.
Yeah.
And allow me to mention this. Don't ever fall for the idea that we are a family.
Wow.
In an organization. Don't ever fall for the idea that you're a family.
But we are normally told...
Fall for the idea so much so that you can now start telling them, my husband does this. You fall for the idea so much so that you now start telling them, your personal information. Those are colleagues. They're not your blood's brother or blood sister. When everything is said and done, and I can no longer interact with you because of Rising Roots Dama, we will not interact at all. But if you're my brother or you're my sister, then there's something that is keeping us that interaction beyond that. There are family gatherings that I'll have to go to. Even family gatherings are people who've had to cut off their parents. So what about? So the idea of it's a family, it's okay, but don't fall for the idea that now you can walk around naked because you're a family. No, do not air your dirty linen at your workplace. Set healthy boundaries. Do not let your colleagues know everything about you, where you stay, who you stay with, what you do, how you run your daily life. Don't be an open book, because when the cards change,
the tables turn.
The tables turn. And when Moshana is running around, your turn will come. Your turn will come. And it might not be good. So just be careful. And I'm saying this from out of the box kind of thing. Like, I'm not saying that don't be friendly. No, have as many colleagues as friends as possible.
But check on what you're saying.
Check on what you're saying. Check on how much you're sharing. Check on, just be very careful on how much is too far, and so that you don't regret later when it's already out there and there's nothing you can do about it. And because they are colleagues, it means they might be looking after the same thing, bread, or your, what is it called? Your, what is it called? Your daily, you're just looking for your paycheck, right? So if that paycheck is not there, they'll go elsewhere. And so sometimes they can be so ruthless as to use what you've said against you to get the better paycheck at your expense. Because we're all human after all, right?
At the end of the day,
we're all human. So don't expose too much until it can be used against you.
Hey, I tell you, I'm going to change. I have a lot to do or to work on myself. My last question is, you mentioned earlier on that have time to check on your emails so that there is consistency in your deliverables, etc. But someone else will advise you that don't check your emails early in the morning or first thing you get into office. Because what if you get a rough one? That will spoil your mood, meaning the rest of your day is...
I don't know. This is my take. Don't be so fragile also, So of course you're going to have rough days. You can have even an accident as you're going to work. It will ruin your day, but you'll still, get up and straighten up. And so you see, there's the chance that actually the probability that something bad will happen when you step outside your house is very high. Does that keep you inside your house? No. In fact, you wake up early, you dress up, hopeful that today will be good. You also don't want to be the person who there's an opportunity that was sent very early, you needed to act on, and then you missed on because I don't know. So how about you build your resilience to negativity around you, so much so that it doesn't matter what people say, you know what you want to achieve, so you work through it. It's a bad email, it will ruin your day, I won't lie, but find a way of dealing with it so much so that it does not ruin everything. You deal with it as and when it comes. But most important, you don't want to miss out on your to-do list. You want to, I feel like it is the emails that are going to determine your to-do list. Frankly speaking, sometimes, or the updates, wherever those updates are going to come from. And then also from there, within your free time, when you're free, instead of watching 1,001 TikToks of people doing challenges, just read a book about mental health. Read a book about, growing relationship, healthy relationships, mending, being good at the workplace. There's so many, and that's why there's something I said about with so many muscles to be built, so many books that have been unread, and so many kindness that needs to be spread. You cannot afford to say you are bored. There is always something you can do to be better.
Thank you so much. Because of time, our viewers, we wish to end our episode there for today. And guess what? I intentionally decided to not to introduce Winnie at the beginning. I wanted you to have that question lingering on, who is this Winnie? Who is this Winnie? So, Miss Winnie, as we close, I would request you to introduce yourself. Give that which you want everyone to know. Who is Winnie? What are you doing? What you're passionate about? And then there is that fun fact about about you.
Yeah.
Feel free to share with us.
Oh, nice.
Then after that, you can go ahead and share where can people get you.
Okay.
Because I feel like holding you and carrying you up and putting you somewhere and telling everyone you need to be friends with Winnie, because I've gained a lot personally.
Thank you.
You inspire me a lot.
Thank you.
I'm very honest.
Well,
Yes.
it's such an, in fact, this conversation is one of those, you know, like the more you talk, the more you learn, the more you
Yes.
feel you can always, impact a life. And so, yeah, my name is Winnie Mahaga, and I'm currently the CPD coordinator. CPD meaning Continuous Professional Development Coordinator at Rusinga Schools, and I'm very passionate about professional development. Passionate, so passionate that I have co-created Inset CPD,
Yes.
which is an organization that aims to help early career teachers, early career practitioners to navigate their professional life. So we give tidbits, we give advice, and if you feel as a school you want us to come and just help your members of staff to figure out how to do things, if you want to move to the international curriculum, you don't know how to go about it, if you just want to package yourself in a nice way, you don't know how to go about it, feel free to reach out, and we'll support you as the best way we can. I'm also very passionate about children and giving them a voice. And so together I've also co-founded Rusinga Speaks, which is a space where students, they talk about sustainable development. They talk about the world around them, basically. So the whole point is just to give them a mic and a voice for them to air the opportunity.
Wonderful.
And then I'm also thinking of starting another space.
Yes,
it's called Kids Space. And the whole point for Kids Space is now to kind of do what Rusinga Speaks, but now not to Rusinga school students, but now opening it up to now everyone else in terms of, so what, if you have they start talking at what age? 3.5?
Yes.
From 3.5 to 18. A child between the ages 3.5 to 18, if they have anything to talk about and you feel they're this kind of people who are standing, they are passionate about the environment, they're passionate about SDGs, they want to talk about, there's something they're doing that is unique, even if not yet very, publicized, we are going to create that space. And so reach out, it's Kidspace KE. And I'm also available on my phone number. I think you can just put it there so they can reach out. But most importantly, guys, don't ever allow yourself to remain the same. Build yourself to the level where you're continuously growing. I also have been in leadership. I've done several interviews. I've seen people make mistakes at interview panels. I've felt like pulling them to the side and telling them, please don't say that. Especially when they're asking a salary is this amount, and then someone quotes a figure that does not even exist. And then you're like, so, you feel like just helping them. So through that experience, I've really felt the passion and the need to just help a young person grow in whichever way I can. And so please enjoy the video, and most importantly, take notes and grow yourself. Do not allow yourself to remain the same. The same way we're growing with Rising Roots.
Thank you. And you've always supported us. We really appreciate you, and that has reminded. Okay, now the last one. At what level do you approach your boss to ask for a pay rise? And how do you do it? Do you just walk into that office and your hands on your hips and you're like, you know what I do? Do you list everything that you do, and then you say, now I feel like you need to, even the company is growing, so I'm requesting you to add me this amount of.
Can I tell you the easiest way to get a pay rise? Is get another job.
Wow.
Because I have a nanny. Before I hire a nanny, I have a budget. Right?
Yes.
So if she wakes up one day and tells me, I want this amount of money, I will pay her for 1 month, 2 months, as I look for someone who is within my budget. Replace. Because I definitely cannot. So there's a reason why you pay that amount of money. So yes, you can go and ask. They might give you. It's okay, depending on the organization. But the professional thing to do is to look at yourself, look at the value you're giving, and if you feel you have outgrown that space, then outgrow the space.
Yeah.
It's just as simple as that, because they will, even if they add you 10,000, 20,000, you will still need more.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
There's always going to wake up and feel, I need more. And so, but if you have to ask for a pay raise, do a evidence, like a portfolio sort of what you do, some sort of like, this is who I am, this is what I've been doing. There's a chance there's some organizations where your visibility is there, but it's not very pronounced. So do that. And then when you step into the office, when you're given the chance, go ahead and explain why you feel you deserve it. And if after that discussion, that's why I was saying, if after that discussion, there's a possibility you might get the pay raise, you might not. If you get the pay raise, good for you. If you don't, fall back to point one.
Yeah.
That if you feel you've outgrown a space, then outgrow space. Statistically speaking, you grow faster when you change your working environment.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. So to our viewers, that comes to the end of our episode, and I'm so excited. Thank you for watching. This is the space where we, the Rising Roots, look at setbacks as setups for bigger beginnings. So until next time, bye-bye. Keep on watching, keep on subscribing, keep on sharing our content so that it can reach out to as many as possible. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Miss Winnie, for honoring our invitation.
Thank you.
We love you.
We love you guys too. Please watch and give us feedback. Let's hear what you think about our episode. Thank you, Miss.
Thank you
for having me.